The US government could actually revalue gold right now and change the price of gold for everyone around the world. And a lot of people would ask me, can a government even change the price of gold? Well, it's a possibility, and I'll tell you exactly what is happening. So for the first time in 30 years, especially the first time since 1996, central banks around the world actually today hold more gold than they hold US Treasury bonds. Now this is concerning because it means that they trust gold to hold its value a lot more than they trust US dollar to hold its value. Which is why the US dollar or the US government is finding it difficult to raise money to actually spend on their economy and revive it. But here comes a tool that the US government has which they haven't used so far and they possibly could, which is their own gold reserves. So right now, US is the largest holder of gold reserves in the world. And if you look at the US Treasury balance sheet, their gold reserves are close to $11 billion. However, this valuation was done at a rate which was defined in 1973 and has not been revised since then. So if the US government were to revalue the gold on its balance sheet, well, it will rise up to a value of over $1 trillion. And why will they do it? Well, that's because they currently have a budget deficit of $2 trillion. So it will make their budget deficit reduce by half. And to raise more money from lenders, instead of giving US Treasury bonds, well, they could issue US gold receipts against which they could collect money from other central banks as well as lenders and thus spend it on their economy to spend on growth and revival. But here it's a slippery slope and it has a flip side as well. Well, the moment the US government were to do it, well, it would actually increase the trust in gold and devalue the US dollar, because it means the central bank's thesis of gold having more value than the US dollar will continue to rise. And this is what big investors around the world are expecting. In fact, Goldman Sachs has reported that they expect the gold price to rise by 22% over the next 12 to 15 months. In fact, JP Morgan is expecting gold prices to rise even further by over 6% over the next 9 months. And this is going to be a new reality, because so far people look at financial market cycles as a cycle of 8 years. However, this is a cycle that comes once in 30 to 50 years. I've given a lot more in the description. Share it with someone who may need it.